Berlin, a city at the forefront of art, politics, and urban culture. This week, playing host to the richest poker tour on the planet. US pro Kevin MacPhee has fond memories of the city, claiming the inaugural Berlin title 2 years ago.
Once you had success somewhere, coming back to that spot, you're going to have a certain amount of confidence, a certain amount of swagger, and a certain amount of intimidation factor against other players at the table. So I'm going to try to just capitalize on that as much as I can.
There's no tennis Grand Slam in Germany, so this could be Boris Becker's greatest achievement on home soil.
It's always good to be back in Germany, to play poker in Germany. It adds excitement and pressure, not so much.
But he's not the only German eyeing this title. The locals are out in force.
It's my home EPT and I want to win it one time, so it's my biggest dream.
Day 1B is about to kick off at the PokerStars.com European Poker Tour in Berlin. The German leg of the European Poker Tour always draws a big crowd, and this year, the game's best and brightest have descended upon Potsdamer Platz for their chance at poker immortality. Last time, Day 1A saw some of poker's young guns duel on the TV table, with high-stakes specialists Philip Grusom and Will Molson vying for table captain, as Barry Greenstein sat back and watched it all unfold. Out in the field, Vanessa Selbst made it through the day, barely, with two previous EPT champs, Lucien Cohen and Vladimir Geschkenbein, keeping their dreams of winning again alive. And now, with 502 runners confirmed here on Day 1B, that makes the final tally 745 entrants, creating a prize pool of more than 3.7 million euros. 112 will get paid. The winner will take home 825,000 euros and the all-important trophy. Boris Becker's game has improved over the years, but even after scoring his first EPT cash, he knows to keep a level head.
Well, winning the EPT in Germany, here in Berlin, would be a dream come true. So let's concentrate on surviving the first day and then we see.
And out in the field, the action looks set to sizzle, with the last two WSOP champs, Jon Duhamel and Piers Heinz, looking for more silverware, along with the previous two Berlin champs, Ben Wilinofsky and Kevin MacPhee. They're going for gold again.
Trying not to think about the second EPT title. There's been a lot of really good players that have been close to the two EPT titles, but it's still in the back of my head.
But with nearly 40% of the field made up of locals and the pedigree of players the home country is producing, there's a strong chance a German will take down this title. The question is, who can last the distance? Let's get the action started. So everyone who makes it through today will join everyone who made it through yesterday in trying to make it through tomorrow.
Well put.
You might know this. There's that guy, I can't pronounce his name properly, so forgive me, but I think his name is like Jan Michael Gamble.
Yeah.
Does he still play?
Yeah, no.
Might be the prettiest athlete I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, come on. We have better looking
Other
boys.
than you.
Yeah, no.
I think my sister used to like him. My little sister used to like him.
Yeah.
It's like
What was his name
him
again?
and
What
Joe
was his name
Mauer.
again?
Jan Michael Gamble.
Oh, I was saying it right?
My sister liked him.
Oh my God.
She used to go on
Who
about him.
wouldn't?
Yeah, he was a blondie, quite tall, well built.
I think so.
Pretty sure Boris just described himself.
Boris talking tennis with US pro Sam Cohen and British pro JP Kelly. We've also got Polish pro Marcin Huretsky at the feature table. Not too much movement, although Cohen and Kelly have built up decent stacks. Everyone's starting the tournament with 30,000 chips. This is the third level of the day, blinds 100-200. Action folded around to Huretsky. Ace-King.
Nice way to start things off.
500.
Or raise to 500. Pocket aces for Sam Cohen.
Never mind. That's a nice way to start things off. Definitely time for a three bizzle. We know she's pretty likely to get action from Marcin.
She makes it 13.25 total. Both the blinds give it up. So back on Marcin.
Marcin could be marching out of here pretty early if he gets a little too crazy here.
He four bets. Makes it 3,125.
If Sam thinks Marchin's got a real hand or that he'll continue to try to play back at her, she should 5-bet, but putting in another bet here is going to be like super serial, okay, guys?
Raise.
There is the 5-bet to just shy of 9,000.
Aces versus ace-king is about as dead as you can be pre-flop, which is appropriate considering Marchin's outfit. I think he's playing Max von Sydow in a game of chess after this.
Nice Bergman, ref.
Thank you. I'm probably going to catch some flack for this, but when random unknown female 5-bets you in level 3, you can probably fold anything less than aces. If Marchin decides she's an American with a chip on her shoulder, he's going to end up with his chips in her stack.
He gives it up.
That's a good disciplined fold, but there's no reason to get too wild so early in the tournament.
Horetsky still has close to his starting stack.
No messing with Captain America, no?
Was it just me, or is that compliment kind of a backhand?
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom, Matt.
Wait, where are we going? I want to hear more about the boom, boom.
We're going to our secondary feature table, where we find 2010 World Series champ Jonathan Duhamel and his biggest fan.
You wrote it, I didn't do it.
You wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
What would I do
It's
there?
a great moment, actually.
What would I do there?
It would be a better moment if I was winning a few hands, but...
So Fabriz's greatest poker moment is playing poker with Jonathan Duhamel? Yeah, I can get behind that.
Cengiz Aluzu is a live wire, as anyone who saw that final table in Dortmund will remember. And Alessandro Laubinger came close to making the final table here in Berlin last year. This guy won the tournament, Ben Wilinofsky, and he's already all in against David Sonnenlin.
That triangle has been tossed in with authorita.
Wilinofsky gets it in good, pocket tens, but Sonnenlin has outs, kings, nines, and diamonds specifically. And it is a diamond on the river. We lose the reigning champ.
Good luck, everybody.
Shrug, whatever, I don't care. Go away, leave me alone.
Well, that title defense didn't last long.
And press play on Celine Dion now.
Nice start for David Sonnenlin. Another Berlin champ involved in a monster pot.
Officer McPhee, do you know why I pulled you over, son? Well, answer the officer, Matthias.
He's bet enough on the river to put Matti de Mulder all in.
Lots of possibilities on this board.
De Mulder gives it up.
Frustrated fold. Luckily this time, he's just letting you off with a warning.
So the Berlin champ from season 6 faring significantly better than the Berlin champ from season 7. Let's see how the other half of poker's power couple's getting on.
Says she's learning some offensive phrases, although according to Liv, being called ma'am is an offensive phrase.
Other ladies in the field today include Spain's Ana Marquez.
Yup.
German EPT winner Sandra Neuox.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Yuan Lu, who came 4th at the PCA this season.
All day.
And there's the guy who came 3rd at the PCA, Faraz Jaka.
A little out of my wheelhouse, but what the hell.
And how do you feel about Eugene Kachelov?
How do I feel about Eugene Kachelov? Big results plus rugged good looks equals poker's most eligible bachelor. Plus he's a big sweetie.
Across the room we find Steve O'Dwyer, who came 2nd in London this season. He's a contender for EPT Player of the Year. He's just knocked out a player, meaning he is the early tournament chip leader on day 1B. Playing a stack of 68,000, more than double what he started with. Eugene Kachelov's up there as well, as are JP Kelly and Sam Cohen, who we'll find on our featured table. Faraz Jaka also in the top 5. Jonathan Duhamel and Xuan Lu have lots of chips. Sadly, Ben Wilinofsky has no chips.
Wasn't a very epic title defense. Wasn't quite how I was hoping for. One of the first 10 players out today on day 1B. I got it in good for 20K a piece, and I was happy with how I played the hand. But sometimes you don't hold.
I'd say now he's got the rest of the week to go check out the Berlin Wall, but it turns out there's just like a piece of it left. What a scam.
Jonathan Duhamel playing a 4-bet pot against Jakob Carlsen, who finished 2nd to Liv Boris in San Remo back in season 6.
Jonathan was the aggressor pre-flop, continued the flop, got called.
Board pairs on the turn, and Jonathan bets again, 5,800.
Jonathan keeping the pressure on.
That's a raise from Jakob Carlsen, makes it a total of 12.5K.
This pot is now almost the size of each of their starting stacks.
Jonathan with the decision. And he decides to give it up.
Not happy about the fold. I'd be annoyed too if I had to fold a huge pot to Danny from Caddyshack. Good luck in the golf tournament this year. I hear Judge Smales is gunning for you.
No. Carlsen adds 11,000 chips to his stack. Duhamel still above average. Let's head back to our main feature table. Blind still 100, 200, but everyone now has to post an ante of 25 as well. Action's on Sam Cohen. She's got ace-jack. From under the gun +4, she makes it 525. Action folded around to Stephen Thompson, who has ace-king.
Now it's Sam's turn to run into a bigger hand. Let's see if he 3-bets it. Not mandatory in this spot.
He just calls out of the big blind, so we go heads up to the flop.
A smile.
Ace, queen, 8. Thompson's still good.
This is a pretty deadly flop for the American. Unfortunately for her, this is typically a great spot to value continue.
Thompson checks to her and she bets 700.
Uh-oh. That is not a call.
That is a raise to 1900.
Thompson's made a good read in that Cohen's got a hand he can get value from.
She snap calls.
Very quick call.
Jack on the turn, she takes the lead.
To quote one of my favorite German characters from TV, this card is very interesting. Cohen jumps out in front with 2 pair, but Thompson's got a monster second best hand with a monster first best draw.
Interestingly, she decides to check behind on the turn, and a king on the river sees Thompson retake the lead.
The turn was pretty much a must bet for Cohen. You do not want to give a free card in that spot.
Thompson bets 2,900.
You spread the pot.
Cohen wants to know her river pot odds, getting worse than 3-1, which means her hand has to be good around half the time for her to make this call. Honestly, in this spot, I don't think it is.
A pretty loose call. Straight.
You call?
She does call, and she's not gonna like what she sees.
When she said, spread the pot, please, I was like, oh no.
It's probably pretty surprised to see her calling with worse.
I had 2 pair as well.
I'm just gonna give a jack.
Tough to lay down 2 pair, but it's an even tougher board to be value betting a worse 2 pair.
Well, Sam Cohen is still up on the day, but we've only just begun. We're on day 1B of EPT Berlin. Welcome back to the European Poker Tour from Berlin. The German capital is hosting the penultimate leg of Season 8, meaning the contenders for European Poker Tour Player of the Year have only a handful of events left to stake their claim for one of the most prestigious honors in the game.
The Player of the Year is a point system based on how you do in both the main events and side events at all the EPT stops in a single season.
Winning Player of the Year is would mean everything to me.
It's not only about the result, it's the most about working hard and play all of the stuff.
This whole season of the EPT has been going pretty well for me, and trying to win Player of the Year would be a really nice accomplishment. The majority of my points so far that I've earned for Player of the Year came from my second place finish at EPT London, but I've done pretty well in some of the other big side events. I've got final tables in 2 high roller events, and I final tabled a few of the turbo events, like the bounty events. There's just been so many tournaments I've played. How can you remember all your accomplishments? I'm currently in 4th place, trying to catch Andre Viclark.
I decided after Prague, because I was first, so I decided to play basically all the EPTs. I hope to be first at the end of the day. My biggest rival definitely Roberto Romanello. He is second, just right behind me, like 5 events, and we are really close.
Yeah, I'm currently in 2nd place for Player of the Year, and it's been really tough because it's tough to win because I've had some great results this year. I've had like 2nds, 3rds, 5th, and again I'm still not even up the top, so it goes to show how tough this field is, and you know, you've got to put your heart and soul into it. It looks like right at the death to try and win it, so that's what I'm going to try and do.
Roberto has cashed in 8 EPT events this season. He's an animal. You can tell because his hat says so. Steve O'Dwyer came second to Benny Spindler in the main event in London. O'Dwyer rules! And Andre has been playing every single EPT event since his win in Prague, including several less popular 10K Uno events.
Let's check back in on Kevin MacPhee, the winner of Berlin back in 2010, playing a pot here against William Warrington from the UK.
Is it just me, or do you keep expecting Kevin MacPhee to ask anyone if they've seen John Connor?
9 of diamonds on the turn. MacPhee checks.
Say, that's a nice bike.
Action on Warrington. He checks behind. The river brings the 3 of diamonds.
Action on the T1000, who is reaching for chips.
Just over 8,000 in the middle. Kevin MacPhee makes it 5,050.
If he beats Warrington in the spot, he'll be able to morph into him on future hands.
Well, Warrington decides to fold.
What is it?
A neural net processor, a learning computer.
Maybe that's more.
Kevin MacPhee, well above his starting stack, well above average. Back to our main TV table. Boris Becker finds himself under the gun.
B-backs, handsome for a man. Just ask these two ladies.
Big blind, right?
No offense, B-backs, but asking is it on me is kind of a tell.
450.
He raises to 450. JP Kelly with pocket 8s is called. In the hijack seat is the awesomely named Eric Sturkenboom.
Suited ace, late-ish position, getting decent pot odds. Seems fairly obv.
He makes the call as well. Anyone else feel like playing? Anyone feel like squeezing?
Anyone feel like dancing?
Inappropriate. Nope. Everyone else folds. So 3-way to the flop, which is ace high.
And Sturken boom goes the dynamite.
Boris does not continue. He checks. JP Kelly checks.
Boris gives up the lead, and in this case, it might end up making him look like a genius.
Sturkenboom bets 800.
This could be a positional stab at it, so calling once here obviously isn't terrible, but I also don't mind sometimes getting away from it. Depends on the kind of player Sturkenboom is.
Well, Boris does decide to get away from it. JP Kelly folds the 8s. Sturkenboom wins the pot.
Boris happened to be right in this case, but you definitely can't always play queens that way. That'd be like always serving to the same spot. I don't actually even know anything about tennis, but I assume that's a good analogy.
On the secondary feature table, it's Alessandro Laubinger against Gaetano Dell'Era. And Laubinger, very short, moves all in for his last 3,000. Dell'Era makes the call on their backs. Top pair for Dell'Era, but Laubinger has the aces.
Laubinger in great shape to double up.
Uh-oh. That gives Dell'Era a diamond draw. Any king, any 3, any diamond.
Almost triples his outs.
What happens?
But it's the jack of spades. Laubinger gets the double up.
Thank you.
Laubinger hits a humdinger.
Now playing a 40 big blind stack. Previous German EPT winner Sandra Noax is facing a bet on the river of 7,150. Mark Wright, her opponent.
A slight overbet, usually a polarizing move, but it's kind of tough to have a monster on this board.
Sandra giving it some consideration. She makes the call. Mark Wright tables Jack-9 for top pair, and it's good.
Rivered it. Sandra's down to 10K in chips, but honestly, that's still 50 BBs. No reason to panic yet.
Let's see how some of her fellow countrymen are getting on. Sebastian Ruthenberg has close to his starting stack.
He's a little below average, but he's still working the kinks out. Get it? Because he's getting a massage. Hey, look, everyone, it's the reigning world champ, Pius Hines. Love this kid. He is 57 varieties of awesome. And he is cruising along here on day one. And there's Marvin Rettenmeyer, a.k.a. Mad Marvin.
Both Marvin Rettenmeyer and Pius Hines are among the early tournament chip leaders, both to be found in the top 10. Jake Cody, Lex Veldhaus, and Faraz Jaka also getting off to a great start on day 1B. Steve O'Dwyer and Dan Smith, the two biggest stacks in the room right now. Heading back to the feature table. Line still 100-200 with a 25 ante. Ace-5 for Sturkenboom. And Eric raises to 475. Maxim Semisoshenko has jacks.
Someday he'll be a full Soshenko.
And he just calls. Action folded around to Sam Cohen on the button with 4-5 off. She'll pass. Boris Becker has aces in the small blind. He 3-bets to 1600. Gets a fold from Sturkenboom.
Tough to fold jacks to a 3-bet. I think it means a little more coming from Boris, but he could easily have a big suited ace.
Semisoshenko makes the call. We go to the flop. Boris out of position, but he does have the betting lead and the best hand.
Boris gives up the betting lead again. Not a huge fan of this.
He checks. Semisoshenko checks behind. 10 of diamonds on the turn. Semisoshenko picks up a straight draw.
Kind of an ugly turn card for the aces. You're not too worried about already being beat since it went check on the flop, but you definitely don't want to give another free card.
Boris bets 2,250.
Semisoshenko's open-ended, but he's got a hand that could be the best hand already. Don't really see a fold coming.
He calls. We go to the river, which pairs the board.
Another not so great card for aces. Not really a lot of room for value.
Boris checks. And Semisoshenko checks. You're good, Boris.
Semisoshenko didn't win the hand, but he's got to be thankful the board was pretty ugly for two aces.
Nice hand. Horrible run out.
Horrible.
Good river.
Horrible.
Kind of. Not really.
Dying.
You think? Probably. Maybe not. Decent-ish. Not terrible. Not great. A little, more or less. Okay, gotta go.
Well, heading out into the field, Liv Buree is struggling.
And not just because she's down to 11K. She's actually also struggling to keep down her lunch because I slipped her my phone number. Text me.
Well, her boyfriend, Kevin MacPhee, is involved in another hand against William Warrington.
Such a buzzkill. Let's see what Officer McFizzle's up to.
Well, Warrington bet 1125. McPhee's made it 3,075. Warrington makes the call.
Pretty easy board to be semi-bluffing on.
Two flush draws out there now.
Board gets even wetter. Or is it more wet?
Warrington checks. Kevin MacPhee continues. 5,250.
Another hefty bet.
Warrington's all in. Kevin MacPhee snap calls and shows top two.
McPhee not semi-bluffing, a made two pair. Warrington had the big draw and picked up even more equity on the turn, 13 outs.
But doesn't hit on the river.
Whoop, whoop. Officer McPhee nails another speeder.
Adds 20,500 chips to his stack. Kevin MacPhee back in the city where he won his first EPT title. I stand by my prediction that he will be the first player to win 2 EPTs. 1.6 million euros in career earnings. His biggest result was taking down Berlin in Season 6, worth a cool 1 million. He's also a force online.
He's a luck sack.
Feels really good to be back in Berlin. Last year they didn't play the tournament in the Hyatt, they played it across the street at Spielbank, Berlin. So it didn't really feel like a title defense. So playing in the convention center in the Hyatt is the room that I lifted the trophy in, so it feels like I'm actually doing my title defense this year, so it feels just like 2 years ago.
What a terrifically convenient way to completely discount last year's title defense. This year it'll be because it's a leap year.
Back to our feature table. Our action is on Stephen Thompson.
Taking his sweet time
to fold.
Well, this is like women, you know, they cost money.
I'm gonna let that line just go ahead and hang there.
It's been passed around to Marcin Horetsky. He finds Queen 10 on the button. Makes it 400. It's a min raise.
Yeah.
Boris picks up Ace King in the big blind.
Re-raise.
And he's going to 3-bet to 1,350. And a quick fold from Marcin.
Pretty tight image B-Bex has got for himself here. Pretty tight.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
I don't want to say Boris plays like a rock, but his image is tighter than the strings on his tennis racket, which, from what I understand, is pretty tight.
So Boris wins himself a small pot.
I take what I can get, you know?
This guy, take what I can get. Pfft, this guy.
If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com, where there are qualifiers every day. Welcome back to the PokerStars.com EPT from Berlin. Germany has produced some exceptional poker talent in the last few years. Is it because Germans are engineered to play premium poker?
For poker, you really have to think well, organize well, be structured. That stands for typical German.
The mentality of the German people could have something to do with it, but I don't think it's that deciding of a factor. I just think that the German community being so strong is the main cause here. The swapping of ideas and strategies just makes German players tough.
They're exchanging a lot. They're all living together, going on holidays together, and then they share their thoughts about poker. And they're not keeping a secret like a lot of players from other nationalities do.
We had so many German winners and players that were on the final table and did well. But I think there's a big German group that play together, that travel together, and I think that's the reason why they're successful, because it's a unit.
You know what they say about German players? They're the worst.
Joe Stapleton just made a sausage gag, ladies and gentlemen.
Check.
Action's been folded to Boris Becker in the small blind. He has called. JP Kelly checks his option and flops second pair. Boris checks, JP checks behind. 3 spades on board now.
Kelly still best, picks up a flush draw, the too high flush draw.
450.
Boris makes it 450 with just queen high.
It's a fairly big bet relative to the pot. Unfortunately for B-backs, if he had anything that was beating a 9, he probably would have bet the flop or raised pre-flop.
JP makes the call, the board pairs on the river.
Not a good card to bluff at.
Boris gives it up, he checks.
700.
Is this a value bet from JP?
Don't do that.
JP was likely putting Boris on a 7, thinking he can get a small value bet paid.
JP takes it down and adds 875 chips to his stack.
I couldn't take it back.
No.
Said it before, I might have checked.
Don't do that.
B-backs totally is a ledge. I like that, I'm using it. In fact, the word ledge is ledge. I love breves, love breviating. Totes, right, Hearts? Now let's check out some outs, tabes, action.
Please tell me you're not going to do this for the rest of the show.
Nah, I'm done.
The action is between Alessandro Laubinger and Fredrik Andersen.
Right.
And Andersen has raised Laubinger on the flop.
Players all in.
Laubinger shoves.
First Boris called Sam Cohen Captain America. Now Laubinger shoved on Thor.
Call.
Nick Fury just doubled up on another table.
On the backs, please, gentlemen.
Andersen makes the call. Showdown. Ace-queen for Andersen, ace-queen for Laubinger.
Thor's got a spade free roll. Let's see if he can swing that runner hammer.
Nope. It's going to be a split. And you know what they say, Joe? Everybody loves a chop pot.
We do love a chop pot.
Nice end.
You play that trash? You know, ace-queen is a super premium hand in Asgard.
It's Alessandro Laubinger clinging on for survival, having had a deep run in Berlin last season.
Last year was a great experience for me. It was my first EPT ever I played. Finished on the last 20 players. Had so much fun and so much experience, and it was great. I went as fast as possible to the next EPT, to San Remo. That was quickly 2 weeks after Berlin. After coming back to Germany, it was in the same night, I get a bad news that I have got cancer. Now it's 1 year over, and I had a hard year behind me with a lot of trouble, therapies, and at the moment I'm feeling good. I started to come back again, to see that the life is not over yet, and I'm a young guy. I'm 31 years old, and I want to do. I don't want to give up. And I decided as fast as possible to combine the poker with cancer in form of maybe opening a charity organization, and let's call it Bad Beat for the Cancer, to get help for people who have the same situation like me. And there are some people which I know which had this situation also, but they don't have money, and we're playing here for a lot of money, and I want to do my thing. I want to go to the people, and I want to give a little bit of this when I win, maybe when I win. And I look for supporters who try to help me with this charity.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but in a rare moment of seriousness from me, it kind of makes you realize how good most of us run, doesn't it?
We're going to stay on the secondary feature table. We've got 4 players going to a flop. Eugene Kachelov, Cengiz Aluzu, plus Fabrice Soulier and Jonathan Duhamel. That flop is 10, king, ace with 2 spades. Kachelov bets 2,200. Aluzu going for chips. He makes the call. Fabrice Soulier calls as well.
Jonathan not going anywhere. So everyone's got it. My read, at least one of these guys is on a draw.
So with Jonathan calling, we go 4-way to the turn, which is the 9 of hearts. Kachelov now checks, as does Aluzu. Action on Soulier. He checks. And Duhamel says deal the river.
So no one's got it.
Queen of diamonds.
Well, there you go. Someone just got there.
Jack, anyone? Kachelov will rep it, bet 1,600. Aluzu folds.
Soulier trying to remember if he has a jack. Apparently not.
He's done with the hand.
To be clear, a jack is the nuts.
Not beyond the realms of possibility that 2 players have a jack.
I like where your head's at, Hartigan.
Duhamel raises, makes it 7,500. Kachelov snap calls.
It's a chop.
They both have a jack, which means we get the jingle one more time. Everybody loves a chop pot.
I shall chop the pot in 2, thereby revealing its rightful owner.
So a small boost to Eugene's bumper stack. He's 9th on the leaderboard right now. Notice, no German players in the top 10. In the top 5, 2 EPT runners-up, Steve O'Dwyer and Per Linder. Out in front at the moment, US pro Victor Ramden.
What an unfortunate thing to happen right after we make a big deal about all the German players in the feature.
Our producers are good at booking people.
Pocket deuces under the gun, the most coveted spot in all of poker. Andrew Tang, he's got to go feed the meter.
JP Kelly's raised to 700.
German parking attendants are not to be trifled with.
Action has been folded around to Eric Sturkenboom. He folds. Maxim Semisashenko, 6-5 off. He'll pass. Torsten Bauer will also fold. Ace Queen, the Marcin Horetsky.
Now you can 3-bet this, but you're facing a raise under the gun and you've got position on your side.
Well, this is interesting. Sam Cohen wakes up with the same hand in the small.
Now in Captain America's case, she is out of position, so she may want to play this hand with the lead.
She has re-raised. It's a 3-bet to 2,250. Action's back on Kelly.
JP's capable of anything here, but I'd say calling is probably the last of his 3 options.
Raise.
He continues to represent huge strength. He will 4-bet.
Under the gun 4-bet should look awfully strong.
Well, he's got Horetsky to fold.
And no offense, but he's definitely attacking what he perceives to be a weak spot at the table. Even if she does call, he could still flop a set.
And Sam Cohen folds as well. The 4-bet gets through.
Very nice play by JP Kelly.
And a nice pot. Let's head to the outer tables, where we find the champion from 2 years ago, Kevin MacPhee, playing another hand against Matthias de Mulder.
De Mulder now a two-time offender against Officer McPhee. Last time he got off with a warning.
There are 3 clubs on board, and the river pairs the board. McPhee checks. De Mulder going for chips. Just over a half pot size bet, 2,350. Kevin MacPhee makes the call. And De Mulder shows 3-5 of clubs for a flush.
And McPhee just mucks. My guess is he probably had a pair at best.
So De Mulder will add 4,500 chips to his stack. And by losing that pot, Kevin MacPhee will drop out of the top 10.
The lieutenant's gonna give him hell for this one. You're a loose cannon, McPhee. Give me your gun and your badge.
Back to our feature table. Blinds 150-300 with a 25 ante. Ace King suited for Torsten Bowler.
So pretty.
Early position raised to 625.
Suited wheelie ace, tempting call, but risky with so much action behind.
Sam Cohen does make the call. JP Kelly in the cutoff has 5 deuce of hearts.
We already know JP sees Sam as a spot.
He makes the call.
A little loosey-goosey.
And Stephen Thompson with 6-5 off will call from the big blind.
Also a little loosey-goosey, but getting decent pot odds.
Flop is 6-3 king, top pair for Bowler.
Thompson hits middle pair, not bad, but not the best. Also, he's not the last aggressor.
He's checked to that aggressor.
1313.
And Bowler, with top pair, top kicker, will continue for 1,300.
For all intents, he should like this board. Cohen totally whiffed.
She folds. JP's picked up a gut shot.
But yeah, that's not that great.
He's also got the backdoor flush draw.
Ruh-roh.
He raises to 3,300.
This is kind of a random spot to make a flop raise, but if he gets called, and he will, he's still got some equity.
Well, Thompson has folded. Bowler will call. We go to the turn. Ace of clubs. Top 2 now for Bowler.
Bowler's hand improved, though a flush draw is one possible reason JP could have been raising the flop. And those clubs did just come in.
Bowler bets again, 3,500. JP calls.
Interesting. My guess is he's going to try to rep the flush on the river.
Instead, he makes a straight on the river.
Got there.
Bowler bets a third time, 5,500.
Very small bet.
Wait, that's how weird. I was going to ship the river.
He was going to rep the flush.
I just have to call.
You'd think he'd have raised with that straight, but I guess he wanted to avoid a big decision with such a strong hand.
I got straight.
A really gross straight. And that face says it all. And in case you were wondering what it's saying, I am going to kill you.
JP Kelly now up to over 64,000 in chips. Well, feel free to comment on any of the hands you see on the show. Tweet using the hashtag EPTBerlin. We're almost halfway through day 1B at the PokerStars.com EPT Berlin, where 80 players have already bitten the dust. Those still in contention include Elke, Victor Blom, Victor Ramden, Lex Veldhaus, Anna Marquez, and tennis legend Boris Becker, whose star status has won over US pro Sam Cohen.
Boris Becker, I had never met him before. He's a really nice guy. Seemed like a good poker player. Played pretty tight. Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
So you're telling me that the professional athlete was really nice to the attractive female sitting next to him? You don't say.
Blinds are up to 200-400 with a 50 ante, and we're going to sweat with Sam Cohen on this hand. We're only going to see her whole cards, which are Ace-Queen.
925.
And she's raising.
Nice opening raise. Uh-oh, the jacket's come off. Boris is showing off his guns. I hear he calls them Wimble and Don.
Stephen Thompson on the button.
We raised fairly early, and Thompson really hasn't been horsing around all that much. He is on the button, so I guess I'm okay with a call here. All this thinking worries me, however.
He doesn't call, he 3-bets to 2,375.
Uh-oh.
How do you feel about playing Ace-Queen out of position to a 3-bet?
I'm okay with a just call. You know, he is in position. He could be raising a pretty wide range. I'm fine taking a flop on this one, actually.
Those are not calling chips. That's a 4-bet.
Now, I don't love the 4-bet with ace-queen. I feel like most worse hands are folding and most better hands are calling, or even worse, putting in another bet.
I think that's what we're going to get. Sure enough, a 5-bet to 7,700.
Oh boy, I am totally fine with a fold here. More than fine. Kind of way into it, actually.
Sam elects to call.
Boy, we're really going to have to hit the flop pretty hard for me to be at all comfortable with this.
Well, how'd you like them apples?
Well, that is pretty hard. Cohen was not the last aggressor, so I'm probably going to try to check raise all in here.
She leads for 10,500.
Well, he hasn't snap shoved, so I'm not inclined to think he has a flush. Either way, we are pot committed.
He puts her all in.
I can't fold. I call you have a flush.
She might want to ask that before she calls.
You're drawing that.
But she is right. She couldn't fold. No way, no how.
Oh, they have the same hand.
That's not cool. We're not drawing dead.
So much action for nothing.
Too much action, if you ask me. No way that much money should have gone in before the flop with ace-queen from either player.
Turn and river irrelevant.
Don't pet a bot, please don't pet a bot.
Turn and river irrelevant.
We got a regular goofball over here.
I think this may be a German attempt at humor.
Lots of tension at this table. Good to have some levity, I guess.
I wish there would have been more out there.
I should
would
have
just
called and
shove.
like jam turn, then you fold. If I know the 10 comes. No, you're not folding.
Can we do that rewind the tape thing again and give me the queen of diamonds?
What does she mean again? When did it happen the first time?
That's true.
Well, this is the first time we've seen Sam. She's only played 2 EPTs, including this event here in Berlin. Career earnings total nearly $55,000. She's a US pro based in Florida.
Not much is known about Samantha Cohen, but I do know one thing. I'd rather look at her in slow motion than any other player at this table.
Yeah.
She's having a good day. Sat next to Boris Becker, stack up to nearly 45,000. Over at the secondary feature table, Alessandro Laubinger is all in again.
And again in a great spot to double up. Jonathan does not look happy.
He's drawing pretty thin. Oh, he's picked up some outs.
Because of those 8s on board, Jonathan can only win by hitting a 10.
The river is an 8. So a full house for Laubinger. He gets a much-needed double up, but he's still going to be short. His stack is still less than half the tournament average. Well, let's head out into the field. It's De Mulder versus McPhee, round 3.
That rhymed, James. Good job.
Both players check the turn, and the river card brings a potential flush.
Last time De Mulder had the flush. Looks like he's going to fire at it again this time.
That's 2,850. And McPhee folds.
I surrender.
So De Mulder chips up. Lost a few familiar faces. Finnish pro Ville Valbeck's walking to the rail.
I guess you could say he's Finnish.
We've also lost EPT 7 Copenhagen champion Michael Tereniak.
I guess you could say he's Swedish.
And Liv Marie's gone.
That's how I'm used to seeing Liv. Liv, wait, come back.
I lost a big one early on. I flopped a set. The board ran out pretty gross. Lost a couple of other small ones, and I picked up queens, ran them into kings. So, you know, just sometimes it's not your day. I'm not sure if I'm going to hang out in Berlin or not. I haven't decided yet. Obviously, Kevin's still in. A bunch of my friends are still in. So, you know, if they're doing well, I might stick around. But it's, you know, Monte Carlo is in a week's time, so I'm really excited about that.
Huh. Liv told me she wasn't going to Monte Carlo. I'm sure it was some sort of misunderstanding.
Action on the feature table. It's been folded around to Stephen Thompson. He has ace-3.
I'm not a huge fan of messing around with hands like this from middle position. Too much can go wrong. He's obviously not listening to me.
He raises to 900. Eric Sturkenboom has folded. Maxim Semisashenko also pass. Torsten Bauer.
Well, maybe it's going to get through.
Not interested, so Marcin Huretsky in the small blind has ace-king.
Will we see the 3-bet?
No, just a call. Sam Cohen in the big blind. Picks up kings.
Definitely cannot just flat with kings. Folding also not really an option, so
it's going to be a 3-bet. She re-raises to 3,600. Gets a fold from Thompson.
See ya, ace tray. Now this is similar to the very first hand of the show where Marcin had ace-king and Cohen woke up with aces. We saw her go a little nuts with ace-queen pre-flop a few hands ago. I'm sure Marcin saw that as well, unfortunately for him.
He puts in a 4th bet.
I'm all in.
She shoves. He calls.
Do you have aces?
No.
Is he slow rolling me for real?
Relax, lady. It's been like 3 seconds.
Good ace? Yeah.
Thompson tells him he folded an ace. Huretsky 24% to survive. Picks up a gut shot on the flop.
Not the most reassuring flop against ace-king.
I would prefer an ace on the flop.
Don't be greedy.
Huretsky did triple his outs with that flop, however. Total brick on the turn. Not looking good for Huretsky.
He needs an ace or a queen on the river. It's a 10.
Nice hand. Good luck.
So we lose the Polish pro, and Sam Cohen wins a big pot.
Marcin just kept running into bigger hands.
I mean, I'm never folding regardless, but I'm like, oh my God, he totally would flat you with aces.
Probably not. Also, that slower accusation was erroneous.
2 boom booms.
Boom, boom. Well, the first boom was only one because we chopped it.
Yeah, but still, all in twice.
These two have got boom boom on the brain.
Sam Cohen having a very good day one here at EPT Berlin. Up to 77,500 in chips. Currently 7th on the leaderboard midway through the day. The big stacks right now, Victor Randin, Salman Bebahani, and tournament chip leader Andreas Vlachos. Next time, day 1B concludes, and our feature table is jam-packed with players of the highest pedigree. A recent EPT finalist,
Okay, I'm all in.
a world champion in fine form,
Made 4 top 5 finishes in like a 10-day span, so it was just marvelous, and hopefully that's going to continue.
a super high roller champ with his eyes on the Triple Crown.
I definitely think winning the main event is more of a matter of time. Hopefully it comes sooner rather than later.
And throw in a fearless adversary who knows what it takes to reach a German final table, and anything can happen when egos collide.